All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about two of the most powerful and honestly most misunderstood words in all of Christianity. These are words you probably heard a million times, but they carry so much more weight and so much more history than you might think.
Yeah, think about it. For so many of us, when we hear the word Catholic or Orthodox, our minds immediately jump to a specific church, a specific set of traditions. It's almost like they're enemy flags planted on a battlefield. But here's the thing. Was it always that way? Well, the short answer is absolutely not.
So here's the heart of the problem. These words have morphed from being simple adjectives, words that just describe the church, into feeling like exclusive brand names. And that one shift has caused literally centuries of confusion.
And this right here just lays it out so perfectly. On the left, you've got the brand name we all recognize, right? Catholic means Roman Catholic. Orthodox means Eastern Orthodox. Simple. But look at the right side. Those are the original, much bigger meanings. Universal, whole, right belief, right worship. So the big question is, how in the world did we get from one column to the other? To understand that, we've got to hop in the time machine. We need to rewind the clock and see what these words actually meant in the language of the early church, way before they got turned into denominations.
Okay, let's start with Orthodox. The first part comes from the Greek word orthos, and it simply means straight, right, or correct. Think about an orthodontist. Their job is to make teeth straight. It's all about getting things into their proper alignment.
Now the second part, doxa, is really fascinating. It's a Greek word that means glory and praise, but it also means belief or opinion. And for the early church, you just couldn't pull those ideas apart. They were completely woven together. What you truly believe is demonstrated in how you worship.
So when you put them together, Orthodox originally meant so much more than just having the correct opinions in your head. It was this beautiful integrated idea of right worship and right belief. It was the whole package, the complete, faithful expression of Christianity.
Now for Catholic. This one comes from the Greek katholikos, which literally translates to according to the whole. It points to something that is universal, general, not locked down to one place, one tribe, or one particular group. And we see this crystal clear in the Nicene Creed, one of the most ancient and foundational statements of the Christian faith. When the early church fathers wrote that they believed in one Catholic church, let's be super clear. They did not mean the Roman Catholic Church. They were making a massive declaration that Christ's church is a single, universal body stretching across the entire globe. Okay, so if these were just descriptive words for the whole church, how did they become the exclusive titles for these huge global institutions? This is where the history gets really interesting. Let's see how this all unfolded.
This timeline really tells the story, doesn't it? For the first 1,000 years, you see at the top, these words are just adjectives. But then you hit 1054, the Great Schism. This is a huge turning point. It's when the Eastern Church really starts to identify itself as Orthodox, with a capital O, to emphasize that they were preserving the original right faith and worship. Fast forward a few hundred years, and after the Protestant Reformation really gets going, the Church in the West solidifies its identity as Catholic, with a capital C, to stress its claim as the universal whole Church.
And this table just boils it down. The Eastern Orthodox Communion takes the name Orthodox to make the claim, we've maintained perfect continuity with the original apostolic faith. Meanwhile, the Roman Catholic Communion takes the name Catholic to say, we represent the universal fullness of the Church, and it's visibly centered on the papacy. You see, each one took an ancient adjective and turned it into a proper noun, a brand name.
But wait a second. Here comes the twist that a lot of people miss. What about the Protestants? Did they just toss these words in the garbage? Not even close. In fact, they made a really surprising counterclaim.
This is absolutely crucial to understand. The Protestant reformers never, ever saw themselves as starting a new religion. Their whole argument was that they were calling the one universal or Catholic Church back to its original Orthodox beliefs that they found in Scripture. They wanted to reform the Church, not replace it.
This quote just perfectly captures the spirit of their argument. They were essentially saying that no single institution, no one city, and certainly no one bishop could just claim ownership of a word that belonged to the entire global family of Christ. History and Scripture, they argued, were on their side.
And to really get their point, all you have to do is remember what we looked at a minute ago. For the very first Christians, the word Catholic meant one thing: universal.
And at that exact same time, the word Roman was, by its very definition, local. It pointed to the church in the city of Rome, which was just one of several really important Christian centers, right alongside places like Jerusalem, Antioch, and Alexandria.
So, what happens when you smash those two words together? To the ears of an early Christian, the phrase Roman Catholic would have sounded bizarre, like a total contradiction. A local universal church? It would have been an oxymoron, like jumbo shrimp or awfully good. How can the church be both local and universal at the same time? It just goes to show how much the meanings of these words have been completely transformed.
Now, this isn't just a nerdy history lesson. Understanding this difference has huge, practical implications for how Christians think about their own faith today. So why does reclaiming this vocabulary actually matter so much?
Okay, here is the key takeaway for this whole explainer. The big letter, small letter distinction is an incredibly useful tool. Big C Catholic and big O Orthodox refer to the specific institutions, the brands. But small c Catholic and small o Orthodox, those refer to the original, beautiful meanings that any Christian can, and many would argue, should embrace as their own.
So, how can you start applying this? It's really simple. First, just get comfortable with that big versus small letter rule. It clears up so much confusion. Second, the next time you're in church and you say the creed, when you get to the word Catholic, just remember it means the whole universal church. And finally, start to see yourself not just as a member of a modern brand, but as a participant in a 2,000-year-old global story.
And the payoff for doing this is enormous. Thinking this way anchors us in history, so we don't think Christianity was invented last Tuesday. It helps guard against doctrinal drift by reminding us to value being orthodox. It pushes back hard against that just me and Jesus individualism by reminding us we are part of a Catholic or global family. It connects us to the great story of the faith in a powerful way.
And we'll end with this final thought. These words are just too important, too rich to surrender. They belong to all of Christianity. Because if we don't understand and use our own historical language, we're basically letting someone else define our faith for us. And in so many ways, that's exactly what's already happened. The real question now is, what are we going to do about it?